Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture, and up today I'm going to tell you all about the potential spoilers for WWE's next two Universal Champions. I'm going to tell you the AEW wrestlers who are currently drawing huge praise backstage. I'm going to tell you what Jon Moxley thinks about working for Tony Khan versus working for Vince McMahon. And I'm going to tell you all about TNA and Impact Wrestling and why those two things are like the same again, even though they were always really... Adam, what are you telling them?
More WWE releases could be on the cards. What Andrade was told he had to do in order to get a push in WWE. The man behind the latest episodes of AEW Dynamite has been revealed. And we've got a new name for Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc's tag team. This is the news.
But we're going to kick things off by talking about the Universal title picture in WWE. And if you are a Braun Strowman fan, maybe cover your ears or something, because there's a speculation, rumors, innuendo, whatever the hell you want to call it, doing the rounds today, courtesy of one Tom Colohue, the pro wrestling journalist, talking about where WWE are going to go next with the big blue belt. And it sounds very much like the company are reverting to their old plan. That old plan is Roman Reigns. Basically, it could go down like this. Braun versus Bray at Money in the Bank 2020 next week. Bray wins there, takes the belt, ends Braun's reign very quickly in his first pay-per-view defense. From there, we get Bray versus Roman eventually down the road, and we get Roman taking the title from Bray, which, you know, a few months ago looked like the plan heading into WrestleMania 36 until Bill Goldberg showed up and ruined all the Fiend fans' fun. So that potentially could be where we're headed. I think that it's not the most surprising direction in the world, but it is somewhat disappointing, I think. I don't think Bray necessarily needed to be involved in the Universal title picture so soon after WrestleMania, and I think you're kind of missing out on a revival of the Braun-Roman feud from 2017, which I loved. Did you love it? I hope you did. It was awesome. Either way, though, you know, we still don't know when Roman's going to return. He's immunocompromised. He can't just re-emerge in the middle of this ongoing global health crisis. So, you know, that title change itself is probably quite a way down the line. But at the same time, man, I think, you know, WWE are playing a dangerous game there, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. I deliberately didn't find out who these names were so I could be surprised on news, and I still couldn't even pretend to look surprised when you said those two names there, Andy Murray. No real shocker here. It's more disappointing, really, that, I mean, they couldn't have seen into the future. What am I talking about? But they didn't really need to take the title off Bray Wyatt in the first place, did they? They could have had him retain against Goldberg, and then, you know, as things sort of fell apart around WrestleMania, you could have put Cena in there and just had that match, but for the championship, perhaps. Yeah. I think it's the right thing to transition the belt back onto Bray Wyatt. He is, without question, I'd say the hottest thing on SmackDown right now. You know, it's nice that Braun Strowman has become a world champion. It's a little bit too late, and they haven't really done a lot with it. And they also, just sort of backdoored him into it and didn't really give any reasoning behind it. It's going to be forgotten about, you sense, within months. But yeah, I like Bray being champion again, and it makes sense that the person to take the title off him whenever he eventually comes back, which could be, who knows, could be a year from now. We genuinely have no idea. This isn't like an injury we can talk about someone recovering from. It is only when things are safe enough for Roman Reigns to return. As you mentioned, he's immunocompromised. So it could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. But I think the decision is right to have him take the title off Bray Wyatt, because hopefully by that time you won't get so much of a backlash for Bray dropping the title. And I mean, if you can't cheer and support Roman Reigns when he comes back, not only after, you know, a horrific illness, but now having been forced away from doing the things that he loved, let's not put this on Roman and saying, oh, well, he took his ball and went home. He cannot physically risk his life by going to a wrestling ring. So when he comes back, he should get a hero's welcome. Yes, it might jar a little bit with fans with him being immediately dropped back into the title picture, but maybe we can incorporate some of the things you mentioned there, Andy. Maybe have him have to go through Braun Strowman to get to Bray Wyatt to eventually win the world championship.
Now there's an idea.
Right, let's move on now and talk a little bit about WWE releases. Of course, we had Black Wednesday a couple of weeks ago, and Cain Velasquez was just released in the past few days by WWE. And according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, rather than expecting more WWE releases to come, just kind of expect to find out about them. Sean reporting that some wrestlers have already been released or cut or furloughed. You know, the language varies with these sorts of things by the WWE. They just haven't been announced yet. So, Andy, looks like we could be hearing about more releases soon.
Yeah, this is nuts. I think the Kane situation kind of threw a lot of people for a loop because we figured, oh, well, the releases are done now. There won't be any more. But it could have been that Kane was cut on Black Wednesday as well, and we just didn't hear about it until the other week. And, you know, if they've got other names kind of saved up that they just haven't made public yet, then we could see a drip feed of these things like we saw with Kane, like we saw with Gerald Briscoe, who was furloughed earlier this week, as reported by Dave. So, man, I mean, it would be irresponsible of us to sit here and go, it could be this name and that name and whatever, but like, I can't believe that they would just not announce people. It's really weird, isn't it, man? Like, it's such a strange approach.
It is surreal, and they must have known that news reports like this would come out, even if names wouldn't be revealed, and it spreads this sense of unease around WWE. It spreads this sense of animosity towards them for the fact that they don't need to be doing stuff like this, and yeah, it's just not a great situation for all involved.
Yeah, man, we kind of dived into this really deeply 2 weeks ago, and I'm kind of spent on it, but it's just a horrible situation for these people to be in, man. I can only hope that the people that were furloughed are indeed brought back.
Exactly.
Need to make a living. They need to make a living. And people who are making a good living on the other side at the moment are these AEW wrestlers who have attracted huge praise backstage for the way they have worked through the recent set of TV tapings. Their names are Chris Jericho, who's been on commentary, Orange Cassidy, Trent, and Chuck Taylor. This is all according to PW Insider. They're attracting big praise for what they've done. We've also got some notes here on Jericho's commentary. He apparently recorded all of his commentary in one 7-hour sitting with Tony Schiavone. That is impressive. What's even more impressive is that he did the bulk of it off the cuff with just 24 hours notice, proving once again that Chris Jericho is just the best. Interesting stuff there. We've also got another snippet here from PW Insider saying that big things are going to come from Matt Hardy. The Broken Universe is going to be utilized more and more in AEW. Next week, we've got Hardy and Omega versus Les Sex Gods of Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Very encouraging stuff, and it's always good to hear when people are getting praise backstage.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you were going to ask fans outside of, you know, Cody and the obvious ones, who they were going to praise for what we've seen on telly recently, people like Trent and Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor would come to mind. They have been incredible workhorses recently. That story about Chris Jericho is truly, truly astonishing. Is there nothing he can't do?
Yeah, he's the GOAT. I mean, I don't know if he's the GOAT. I don't actually think he is, but I'm going to say he is because he's great at everything. So
I think he's got very much like GOAT-like qualities about him right now. Yeah, you mentioned that next week on AEW is going to be spectacular. The return of MJF, the return of John Moxley. Let's not sleep on NXT though. 2 World Championship matches next week. It is going to be a hell of a Wednesday night war.
Yeah, man, it's going to be awesome. This is what Wednesday's the best day in wrestling. I love it.
Exactly. Right, let's talk a little bit about Andrade and another report from Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp, confirming that the current WWE United States champion was told by Vince McMahon to learn English if he was ever going to move up the card in the promotion. This kind of corroborates a report from May 2019 suggesting WWE had asked him to brush up on his English. We've seen more of him talking on the microphone. Yes, he's still represented by Zelina Vega, and she talks for him most of the time, but we've seen more and more of him cutting promos. I don't have an issue with someone being unable to speak English or having someone represent them. I think, you know, fans of stars in other sports are absolutely fine with translators or whatever. Yes, it's a little bit clunky, especially, for example, like in UFC when you have a post-fight interview and they have to go through the translator to go through the fighter to come back to them. It's kind of different in wrestling, obviously, but it's nice to hear Andrade cut a bit of a promo. And whilst, you know, it seems an awkward thing to ask him to do, it does seem to be working. He seems to be cutting through more, and hopefully this means he's going to get more and more of a push in WWE.
Yeah, I mean, he opens his mouth now more than ever. The English lessons, if he's been taking them, are clearly working because The spoken English is far and above what it was when he came into the company. Obviously, he's got Zelina to compensate to a certain degree. And I'm sure the fact that he's going out with Charlotte, a native English speaker, is probably helping as well. Because, you're going to pick things up outside of your formal lessons from that. It's good stuff. It's good to hear. He has had this nice kind of slow incremental push up the card. I have no idea what his ceiling is, but the guy is so talented. And I hope he goes all the way to the top, personally.
Yeah, I agree. And it's ironic that this report is coming from two English, or I should say English, what am I talking about? British gentlemen who don't speak a lick of any other language. So there you go.
Exactly. I barely speak English, so there you go. Shall we speed round these last 4 stories?
Yeah!
Cut them to pieces like ribbons. Gang signs. PW Insider spoke to John Moxley recently. John Moxley speaking about working for Tony Khan versus working for Vince McMahon. On Tony Khan, John Moxley called him a really good dude who is a friend to almost everybody on the roster. He's apparently easy and approachable, but smart with a lot of business sense, and he is always excited when John goes to him with ideas. But while he's friendly with the boys, as John says, Tony Khan never takes it too far. Moxley calls it a good experience working with him. Direct quotation, he's an honest dude, he's not a carny, and even though he's business savvy, he's not like a shark. On Vince McMahon, Moxley was a little bit less complimentary. He said that pitching to the WWE chairman was often like talking to a door, and that when he'd bring what he thought were awesome ideas to Vince, they'd always just go back to the same old crap they always do. And again, that's a direct quote from Moxley. So no great surprise here. It's in line with what we've heard about Vince over the years, and obviously the AEW champion is going to praise the AEW president. But Tony Khan does seem like a dude good, man. A dude good? He's a dude good. That's all I'm saying. The Sugar Man, baby. That's it. That's all I've got.
Yeah, it would have been weird if Moxley had come out and gone, God, I really miss working for Vince McMahon. But yeah, good signs come out of here. I bet it's weird for Moxley that he does, he sort of pitches ideas to Tony Khan. A, they get listened to, as he's mentioned there, and B, he doesn't get tackled to the floor by Tony as he leaves the room.
Yeah.
Come on, let's wrestle. Yeah, the fact that we heard reports a while back that in order to pitch an idea that successfully to Vince McMahon, you have to time it so he isn't eating or wanting to eat or has just eaten or whatever. Yeah, that's not a great sign. And yeah, by all reports, Tony Khan seems like a good dude.
A dude man. Shut up.
A dude perfect. And speaking of Tony Khan, he is the man behind all the AEW Dynamites we've seen on telly recently. I mean, obviously, he's the finance guy behind it all, but he has been responsible for writing the most recent episodes of AEW Dynamite. This is according to a new report from PW Insider. He's had a great deal of help from Cody, who has, quote, been instrumental in helping the AEW president working on these shows. But it's almost an endorsement, the fact that we haven't noticed the hand of the author over these shows. They've just felt like really good, enjoyable episodes of Dynamite recently, in particular last night. Yeah,
we know Tony Khan, from his interviews and stuff, is a big fan of territorial wrestling, and that's how the recent Dynamite shows have come across. Lots of interviews, lots of squash matches, a couple of big matches. It's good stuff. Show's been good. What we've seen from Tony Khan as a booker so far has been very encouraging, and it's good to see that Cody is kind of guiding the pencil a little bit as well as an executive vice president. TNA, Impact Wrestling. If you've been watching Impact, if you've been paying attention to them lately, the product's really good, and they've been incorporating loads of TNA elements in it. They had a TNA one night only special the other week. They brought guys like Manic, Suicide, Chase Stevens, Hernandez, all these people back into the fold. That show did a lot better than expected in terms of getting eyes onto the product, and that is the reason, per PW Insider, that Impact will be progressing with more TNA stuff going forward. At Rebellion this week, we saw Moose crown himself the TNA champion, because Tessa Blanchard's not there. She's stuck in Mexico at the moment. Ongoing global situation playing Havoc. But yeah, we're going to get more TNA stuff going forward. Moose is the champion. Hernandez is still there. Maybe we'll get a reverse battle royal. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope TNA don't slip into their super old ways, but it is genuinely good.
Yeah.
As someone who used to sort of mockingly watch TNA back in the day, it is great to see them producing such a fantastic product. It's great to see some of the stars, some people that we've worked with, like Moose in the past, doing so well for themselves. I did like the fact he posted a photo with the belt and just literally said in the caption, just posting this to piss off Michael Elgin. Honestly, if you've not watched TNA, or Impact, I should say, watch it. It's great.
Yeah.
And I know there's a hell of a lot of wrestling to be taken in now, NWA, MLW, etc., etc. But I mean, if considering the awkward nature of wrestling right now, of the world right now, if you're thinking, oh God, well, I probably have to catch up. Good, go and catch up, because it's been good for quite some time now, Impact. And yeah, I'm glad to hear that they did well. I'm glad to hear we're going to hear more TNA influence on there. And best of luck to them, because they genuinely deserve it. They're doing some great stuff, and it's good to see Impact bouncing back and recovering and being the promotion that we all kind of hoped they would be a few years ago.
Yeah, and you know, the TNA stuff can give them a nice little hook as well. So there you go.
Exactly. Just maybe no Claire Lynch. Right, let's move on to the final news story of the day. We've got a new tag team name. Yesterday, you saw the announcement of Ricochet and Cedric Alexander becoming the Two Fly Crew.
Good.
Tight, boys. Loving that. And we've heard the announcement last night that Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc's tag team are now going to be called the Super Bad Death Squad. I like this.
Okay, Twitter questions.
I love it.
I mean,
more of this sort of thing.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to our Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch and ask us any questions. Edward Shiraz Hands gives us our first question of the day. Edward asks, any chance WWE or AEW could fly in from the US to Adelaide, South Australia? We have recorded 7 straight days of no cases and 96% of cases resolved. With a city population of 1.2 million, we could provide at least a good crowd. Now, obviously, Edward is talking specifically about Adelaide, South Australia here, but I couldn't resist. But is this an option for WWE, AEW promotions going forward, do you think?
No. I hope not. I really hope not. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical expert, but you know, people can show symptoms of this, the thing we'll call it. People can carry the thing without showing symptoms, I mean to say. International travel at the moment just seems like not a good idea to me. You could have it and not know and go into this place, and you could be a wrestler and you could come into a contact with a member of the crowd and spark it back up and pass it on. Nah, let's all just stay in one place. Let's stay where we are, wait till we either have, you know, a vaccine, which can take ages, or wait until the experts say it's safe for international travel and all this. At the moment, I'm not for this at all.
We're all desperate to see wrestling back in front of packed houses. We were talking about this, in fact, yesterday, myself and the Dudley boys. But the worst thing we could do is rush back in something like this, and they talk about a second wave or a second peak or whatever you want to call it, and just, you know, getting that, I'd argue it'd be even worse to get a little taste of what it could be like when this is all over, and then having to slip back or having wrestling have to be cancelled entirely for a time period because of another outbreak.
Yeah.
So, as much as I'd like to see it, Edward, thank you for your question,
Thank
but I don't see it happening, and I agree with Andy. I don't think it should. Angela Dawn, second question of the day, says, if ROH were to ever form a working relationship with AEW in the future, do you think Marty Scurll leading an invasion to seek revenge on the Elite because they abandoned him would be a great way to introduce it to the audience?
Yeah, that'd be a really good storyline. You've already got his Villain Enterprises guys. I've watched Ring of Honor in a couple of months, so forgive me if I'm out of the loop, but Brody King, PCO, Flip Gordon, all these guys could potentially be with Marty straight away. Add some other Ring of Honor guys in there. Give me a Jay Lethal, give me a Jonathan Gresham, all these really good wrestlers, a Bandido. I think that'd be really good as long as they learn the lessons of that other invasion.
Yeah, those names you just chucked it with, I was mouthwater in there.
Yeah, it could be really
like,
good.
I don't want to rush it anytime soon. They've got great stuff going on in both AEW and Ring of Honor. But, I mean, if you want to really seize control of the Wednesday Night War or just get even more eyes on your product, I mean, once this is all calmed down and you've run through all the exciting storylines, not run through all of them, but, done some of the exciting storylines you can. Yeah. If they invaded, I mean, we've seen invasions work well, and we've seen them work poorly. Mm-hmm. Do it right, you can have some incredible encounters on there. And having to see someone like Chris Jericho band together with a John Moxley to fight these foreign invaders. I know that's not the elite and what have you, but I'm too excited now. I've got distracted.
Yeah.
Final question today comes from Oliver Hines. Nice sort of flip reverse shout out to the Blazing Squad on this one. Oliver says, with the never-ending parade of names being linked to other companies, what's one switch you hope wouldn't happen? Personally, I don't want to see Randy Orton anywhere near AEW.
Yeah, I don't want to see Randy Orton guzzling up AEW's product with chin locks. Wow, this is a good question because we always talk about it the other way around. I would never want to see Kenny Omega in WWE. I don't think it would work. I would never want to see Darby Allin in WWE. I don't think it would work. On the WWE side, I think a guy like Braun is perfect for WWE, and I'd rather he stick there. Bray Wyatt, another one. Yeah, man. Take a sports entertainment guy primarily. Braun, Bray, plenty more. Even Roman. I think Roman's in the perfect place, and I love Roman Reigns. All aspects of his game. Those are the names I think of straight away.
I guarantee any AEW fan who read that question, if your mind didn't go to Kenny Omega in WWE, you're not a real AEW fan, because that would be dreadful.
Yeah.
Also, don't want to see Cody anywhere near WWE, because they would, they'd punish him a little bit, I think.
Stardust
went back. It's not going to happen, so I might as well say it. And also, I know he got murdered last night again. Marco Stunt, don't put him in WWE, because they'd just be like, hey, bring back
it's Hornswoggle Jr. Way!
No. None of that, please. Right, let's move on to today's and finally, and normally we use this to point out, funny stuff on Twitter or Squared Circle or YouTube or whatever. I'm just going to try and do something nice today because today is this man's birth. No, that's Walter.
Oh.
No, it's this man. No, there's still a picture of Walter. His birthday's in August. It's this man's birthday, Michael Hamflett, one half of the Dadley Boys. And I've just put this up so we can implore all of you to go on his Twitter, @Michael Hamflett, and go and wish that man a happy birthday. Not only because he's just a lovely bloke, as is Michael Sidgwick, by the way. Stop moaning about and complaining. He's just, he's lived through some of the god-awful stuff that WWE does, and he genuinely just adores AEW. But yeah, Michael Hamflett, lovely guy. Him and Michael Sidgwick, without those two, we probably wouldn't be able to do half the stuff we do here at WhatCulture. They are phenomenal writers. I do podcasts with them every single day. They're lovely blokes, and both of them right now are, it's fair to say, suffering a little bit being stuck at home with the kids. If you've got kids, you'll understand. They love their kids, my God, they could do with a break with them sometimes. So yes, go on his Twitter. He's 50 today, I think it is. Go and wish him a happy birthday from all of us.
50, mate. He remembers when life was black and white. Show Michael Hamflett. Show the Michaels some love. If you don't like the Michaels, I'm afraid I don't like you. So you suck as a person.
If you don't like them, we don't care for you as a person. Right, on that note, let us know your thoughts on all of today's news stories in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. Myself and the Dadley Boys going to review what was an excellent Wednesday Night War a little bit later on today. And 4 p.m. today, live on YouTube, not only will we be answering all of your usual wrestling questions and discussing any breaking news that we find out about, we're going to do something we have never, ever done. Join us here, live at 4 p.m. BST for something you probably wouldn't expect from us. That's all I'll say for now. Plus, let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions on Twitter @WhatCultureWWE. Why should they follow both of us? You can follow Andy Murray
at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Happy Birthday, Michael Hamflett. It's not easy being 95. Keep on creaking in the free world.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. And as I said, to go and wish Michael Hamflett a happy birthday, it is at Michael Hamflett. This has been the news. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thanks to you for watching, and we will see you soon.